She left, and right now, in this very second, while you stare at the black screen of your phone waiting for a notification that will never come, she feels not pain, but relief. And this is the brutal truth we must begin this conversation with, because without accepting reality, it is impossible to build a strategy for victory. She convinced herself that she had outgrown you, that you are a stage past, a reed book, ballast that needs to be dropped so the hot air balloon of her life can fly higher towards those mythical ideal men she has painted in her imagination. Right now, she looks down on you from the pedestal you yourself put her on, and she awaits a predictable, pathetic performance where you play the role of the rejected lover begging for a second chance. She expects your calls at 3 a.m, your long, despair-soaked messages where you try to logically explain why you should be together. She expects you to be on your knees, proving that her departure destroyed your life. And do you know why she expects this? Because every humiliation of yours is food for her ego. It is validation of her decision. For if you are killing yourself over her, it means she is truly a valuable prize. It means she is a queen, and you are just a subject who lost favor. And your tears only cement her confidence that she did the right thing by getting rid of a weak man. But today we are going to flip this board. We will change the gravity in your universe, because I am going to give you not just a set of tips, but an instruction manual for the total deconstruction of her expectations and the rewiring of your own consciousness. If she expects a loyal dog chasing a car, she will get a cold wolf silently walking into the forest. And it is this departure, this icy calm, that will make her feel the very cold she never expected and is completely unprepared for. Most men make a fatal mistake immediately after a breakup by trying to use logic to repair emotions. They remind her of vows, of what they went through together, of plans for a mortgage and children, but they fail to understand a fundamental biological fact. Women and men break up completely differently. When a man leaves, it is often an impulse, a flash, a testosterone riot he might regret by morning with a hangover. But for women, it is different, because by the time she says those terrible words, "We need to break up," or "It's not you, it's me," she has already lived through this breakup inside herself hundreds of times. She began leaving you weeks, maybe months, before the final conversation. She mourned these relationships, lying next to you in the same bed, while you slept and suspected nothing. She already discussed it with friends, with her mother, with a therapist. She already prepared her exit routes. Therefore, when you start persuading her to return, you are talking to a blank wall, you are trying to reanimate a corpse that went cold a month ago, and your attempts to explain everything are perceived by her not as a gesture of great love, but as pressure, as intrusiveness, and, most terrifyingly, as weakness. In her eyes, dictated by millions of years of evolution, a man who falls apart over the loss of a female demonstrates low genetic value, because nature looks for strength, stability, and the ability to survive, not tears and pleas. So the first thing you must do to trigger the process of her regret is to kill hope within yourself, that very hope that forces you to check her social media every 5 minutes. You must understand the black hole strategy, the strategy of a total information vacuum, because pursuit, that instinctive impulse to cling to what is leaving, is your worst enemy. When you text her, call, or accidentally appear at her work, you do 2 things. You show that you have no other options and are needed by no one else, broadcasting scarcity, and you give her absolute safety. She knows you are on the hook, that you are her backup airfield she can return to if things don't work out, with a new alpha. And as long as you are available, you are not interesting. Because value is held only by what is scarce, only by what can be irretrievably lost, and one cannot miss someone who is scratching at the door like a puppy. Your task is to vanish, not just to stop writing, but to erase yourself from her information field. Delete her number so you don't break down while drunk, Hide her stories so you don't see her fake, happy life. Forbid friends from talking about her, creating a vacuum around yourself, because the human brain hates unfinished gestalts and the unknown. When you disappear abruptly, without farewell letters or tantrums, you break her script. She expected a drama, a blockbuster with tears, but got silence. And in this silence, like in a dark room, monsters of doubt begin to be born. Why isn't he writing? Was I really indifferent to him? Maybe he already has someone else? Her imagination begins to work for you, painting pictures where you are happy without her, and the fear of loss shifts to her side of the field, forcing her to check her phone not with annoyance, but with anxiety. But creating external silence is only half the battle. The hardest part happens inside, in your head where the storm rages. And here we must turn to the philosophy of Stoicism, to the art of taking a hit when the whole world is collapsing. Marcus Aurelius taught that we have no power over external events, but we possess absolute monarchy over our own minds. And it is this realization that transforms you from a victim of circumstance into the cold architect of your own destiny. Her leaving is an external event you do not control. You cannot climb into her head and flip a love switch, but you fully control your reaction. And the biggest mistake is making your suffering public. Status updates with sad quotes, drunk stories with hints, complaints to mutual acquaintances. This is all a cry for help that evokes not pity in women, but disgust. So remember the rule: she must never, under any circumstances, see that you are suffering. Your imperturbability frightens her much more than any tantrums, because a scream is an understandable reaction of a weak creature, while grave silence is the ominous prerogative of the strong, hiding an unknown and dangerous potential. This does not mean you should turn into an unfeeling robot. Suppressed emotions will tear you apart from the inside and come out as psychosomatics or a nervous breakdown. You must process the pain, but do it in strict privacy, in male solitude, or in a therapist's office. Every time you hold back the urge to spill your emotions outwardly, you accumulate a colossal amount of psychic energy that used to leak into the abyss of her approval, but now cements your mental spine. Want to scream? Go into the forest and scream. Want to punch walls? Go to the gym and hit the heavy bag. But for the outside world, and especially for her, you must be an unshakable rock. You become like an iceberg, where the visible part is impeccable politeness and icy detachment, and underwater lies a power against which her confidence in her own righteousness will inevitably crash. Why does this cause regret? Because it demonstrates emotional maturity, that very core you may have lacked in the relationship. She expected you to break because she considered herself the load-bearing structure of your life, and when you stand tall even after that structure is removed, you prove that your center of gravity is located inside you. Female psychology is wired to instinctively be drawn to the strength she cannot bend, and your absolute calm becomes an unsolvable riddle for her, knocking off all her navigational settings. Doubt begins to gnaw at her. If he got over it so easily, maybe I'm not that special after all. And this thought, like acid, will eat away at her confidence in the correctness of the breakup, while you must engage in radical reconstruction, turning pain into fuel. The pain of a breakup is pure, concentrated nuclear energy, and most men allow it to rot inside, turning into apathy and alcoholism. But your task is sublimation, the alchemy of the spirit, where you take this lead of suffering and turn it into the gold of achievement. The time has come for healthy, aggressive egoism. While you were in the relationship, you poured resources into her time, money, attention, emotions. Now this tap is shut off, and the entire flow must be turned 180 degrees onto yourself. You stop being a donor for someone else's comfort and become the sole beneficiary of your life force, investing every free minute and every free dollar into building your own empire. Start with your body, because it is the only thing that belongs to you undivided. Go to the gym and lift iron to failure. burning cortisol and gaining deserved dopamine, processing mental pain into muscle pain. Every new vein on your arms and every kilogram shed will tell her a silent story of iron discipline and fanatical persistence, of which she was sure you were simply incapable. Physical power is the most honest, primal indicator of your status that cannot be faked, and by improving your shell, you automatically raise your quotes on the mating market to a level she may no longer be able to afford. You stop being a petitioner with the eyes of a beaten dog and turn into a monument to your own will, looking at the world with the heavy, calm gaze of a man who has conquered himself. And when, 3 months later, she sees you accidentally on the street or in a photo and notices that you are in the best shape of your life, her subconscious will scream, because she remembers you as soft and domestic, but you have become hard and dangerous. She will realize she threw away a man as comfortable as an old sofa, but now standing before her is a predator who, having tasted his own blood, has learned to hunt again. This contrast triggers a primal attraction that is stronger than any logic. Then move on to finances, because women often leave during moments of stagnation, when it seems to them there are no prospects, and you must show her what a monstrous mistake she made in terms of timing, directing all liberated energy into career and business. She exited the game at the dirty foundation stage, frightened by the difficulties, but thereby forever deprived herself of the right to enjoy the view from the penthouse you are now building for yourself alone. Money is not just paper, it is the equivalent of your competence and influence on reality, and your financial takeoff after the breakup will be the cruelest punishment for her, a signal that she was ballast, and having dropped it, you rocketed into the stratosphere. Financial independence gives you the main weapon of a man: total autonomy, the ability to say no to any situation, and it is this freedom from circumstances that drives women crazy, as they are used to controlling through dependence. Buy new clothes, change your style, start investing in yourself, become more expensive in every sense of the word, because your appearance is a manifesto of your new standards. By swapping a cheap hoodie for quality style, you wordlessly broadcast to the world that there is no longer room for cheap drama in your life. And in parallel, launch an intellectual renaissance, remembering everything you abandoned for her sake: hobbies, friends, passions, restoring the sovereignty of your personality in territories that were previously occupied by endless compromises for the sake of the relationship. Become version 2, a version she does not know, a version to which she has no access keys, because her old manipulations no longer run on your updated software, causing her panic from the loss of control. Women hate predictability, and if you became a read book to her, start writing new chapters in a language she does not understand. One of the most powerful levers of influence is social proof and the abundance mentality, the so-called pre-selection, because women want what other women want, and if you are lonely and dreary, you are needed by no one. But if you are surrounded by attention, if your life is boiling, her possessive instinct wakes up instantly. The biological mechanism here is simple and cynical. A woman perceives attention from other females as a mark of quality, as a confirmed certificate of your genetic fitness, which saves her from the need to conduct her own long verification of your resources and status. Your social media should become not a showcase of your pain, but a documentary of your new, exciting life, full of travel, sports, achievements, and new people, broadcasting one simple thought: my life continues, and it has become better. Every post of yours should be a nail in the coffin of her hopes that you will wither without her magical presence, demonstrating that your world has not collapsed, but on the contrary, expanded to horizons she could only dream of while sitting in her comfort zone. And when you start communicating with new women, and you are obligated to do so when the wounds heal, choose quality. Never lower the bar. Do not look for a copy of your ex. Look for an upgrade. A woman who is more beautiful, younger, calmer, or more successful. You must feel on a physical level that the world is full of women who do not nag, who respect your goals, and who look better than the one who made you doubt yourself, returning your lost sense of dignity. When the ex sees you with someone who is objectively higher than her in rank, it will deal a crushing blow to her self-esteem, destroying the myth of her exclusivity and indispensability, for she would forgive you loneliness. She would forgive you a simpler girl, but she will never forgive you a woman in comparison to whom she herself looks like a pale shadow who lost the competition on all fronts. But do not do this for show, but because you have genuinely realized your value and understood that the loss of one woman in a world where there are billions is not a tragedy, but a statistic. The abundance mentality is not arrogance. It is the calm, deep knowledge that the ocean is full of fish, and clinging to one guppy that swam away when you have learned to catch marlin is a crime against your own male nature. Sooner or later the strategy will work, and she will reach out. It is as inevitable as the sunrise. She will throw you a ping, a like, a meaningless message, a "how are you?" just to yank the leash and check if the little dog is still there. She doesn't need you as a person. She needs a dopamine hit from the realization of her power. She vitally needs to ensure that her backup airfield is still lit up and ready for an emergency landing if her current flight crashes. Most men fail here, seeing this as a sign of love and answering instantly, dumping tons of unspent tenderness and willingness to serve on her, instantly killing any intrigue and confirming their low rank as a petitioner. But you must be smarter. You must be a mirror reflecting her indifference. Reply hours later. Reply dryly, without emotion, politely but distantly, showing that she has lost VIP access to your attention and now stands in the general queue. You methodically deprive her of the privileges of intimacy she herself rejected, clearly demonstrating that a man's emotional resource is an expensive currency no longer given away for free to former depositors. And under no circumstances agree to friendship, because the phrase, "let's remain friends," is a manipulation, an attempt to keep you on the bench while she looks for someone better. Agreeing to this means voluntarily signing an act of capitulation, admitting that you are only fit for the role of a crying vest she can weep into when a real man hurts her. Your answer must be as hard as steel. No, I have enough friends, I love you, or loved you, so I will not be friends. Either we are together, or we are nothing. This is a position of strength. These are boundaries that force respect, because women despise those who agree to scraps from the table. By refusing the humiliating consolation prize of friendship, you create a vacuum of real loss, and only the fear of losing you finally and irrevocably can make her reevaluate your stock on the relationship exchange. But the most paradoxical, deepest essence of this strategy, its philosophical core, lies in the fact that to get her back, you must be genuinely ready to lose her forever, because as long as you do all this for her sake, you are dependent and weak. Real, gut-wrenching regret will arise in her only when you truly outgrow her, when, having passed through the hell of transformation, you discover with surprise that you have become too good for her, and that her games no longer correspond to your scale. You will suddenly see that the prize you were chasing was never her validation, but your own self-respect, which you have finally reclaimed from the ashes of your old self. And in that moment when she crawls back and they always return to the scent of strength and success, you will understand that you won not because you got her back, but because you freed yourself from the need to get her back. Her regret will be bitter. She will understand she betrayed a man who had the potential to become a king, but she lacked the wisdom to be there during the process of becoming. She will remain on the cold platform, watching the train of your new life pull away, and this feeling of irrevocably lost opportunity will haunt her at night far more than any attempt of yours to take revenge. Make no mistake, the man who emerges from this fire will be unrecognizable to the boy who wept over her departure, and that evolution is the ultimate closure. This is your path, your struggle, and your victory. So if you are ready to undergo this transformation to the end and learn the whole truth about the mechanisms of the human psyche, subscribe to the channel Psycheria, because here we do not give sweet consolations, we give tools for real power over your destiny.